All right, welcome back to Ars Cryptotica. This is episode 33, I think, and it's been about 9 months. So happy to have Snarskis back on. I hope we can make this a regular thing, Snarskis. I think Henry is doesn't have time for this anymore. How have you been in the last almost year? What's new?
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me. What's been in the last 9 months? I think happened quite a few things. So I'm still carry on working on digital art, digital painting, and just exploring now more really the new technology. So I
Mm,
was looking into since we actually met through the NFTs, so that's why I never stop like exploring and creating new artworks and making the digital art into NFTs.
yeah.
Also, now, as we see from the last few months, and especially from the December of 22, the AI really took off. So I was looking into as well all the tools available for written and visual mediums.
Hmm.
So now I've been dabbling with different apps, different technologies to see what I can make it with that.
Nice. So where are we at now? Is it super easy to do, or it just keeps improving month by month?
Well, it feels like it's improving week after week. It's rapid improvement, even if we're looking at the mid-journey first version and now the latest one. The
Hmm.
quality of the picture, it becomes almost like a photorealistic. So it's a huge improvement, and it seems like within another 3 months, it will be really difficult to tell which is photograph and which is actually AI generated. And especially, I think if we would look at architecture or nature, it just becomes picture perfect visuals. And
Mm,
also now we can see the trend that AI is working really well with the moving images
hmm.
and how it can, transform the actual footage and manipulate into something else. So today I'm going to show you two actual examples of what I created,
Hmm.
and one of the artwork will be shown at the Taiwan Art and Technology Festival.
Awesome.
So this September, from 22nd of September to 29th of October, one of my pieces will be on display at Taiwan Art and Technology Festival.
Hmm.
I hope I'm pronouncing well, but you have a screenshot of the poster. And I was dabbling into this new medium where I combine video footage into AI generated video.
Hmm.
So perhaps I can share my screen. First, I want to show you the poster and perhaps explain really the differences. So I'll zoom in. So the artwork is called Florence Fire. So it's
Hmm.
basically a combination of floral and inspiration into one. And if I zoom into the artwork, we see the half of the picture here is the real footage, and the half of
Mm.
the picture is AI generated. So here, because the animation is quite quick, I wanted to demonstrate how AI takes the real time footage and interpretates into any type of style that you like. So because my medium is more like a digital painting, I always like to keep that really physical presence of like a brush strokes, colors, layering really into the image.
Hmm.
So here as well, I chose to create into kind of watercolor painting. And this footage starts from the video, and then AI takes it and interprets into different portraits, floral elements, and uh, women portraits. So I'm
Mm.
gonna play the first video, and then I'll show you another example as well. I'm just gonna play the video now.
Okay. So this video is what the AI made, or what's
This
what's
is
the
AI
source?
generated.
Okay,
So
based on
the
text.
yes, the actual technology is called diffusion stabilizer.
Hmm.
So it takes the footage and you can set the rules, what speed, what style, and what pictures you would like to see it. So if I scroll very slowly, you can see that at the beginning we have the video,
Hmm.
and that after a certain frame, AI grabs it and then follows the instructions that are written. So it turns into watercolor drawing, and then it really takes it off to different portraits and keeps it the same elements. Basically, whatever you type in, you would like to see at what angle and what speed, it starts producing it. And the differences are that it produces as a video, right? Instead of having like a still image or just illustration. So actually it follows the camera angle, directions, styles, and what you would like to see it. So I'm just scrolling very slowly just to really appreciate the detail and how much different frames are combined and how they're like a melt and change one after the other.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's quite interesting. And let's see if we're going back to the original footage. I think it's like a stunning transition.
Mm.
It really takes to the another dimension, I would say. And then I want to show you one more clip that I was dabbling as well. I really like this kind of idea, taking the real footage and turn it into painting. So I'm gonna play now full speed again.
Mm-hmm.
So we have footage and then it takes on.
Mm.
So here I was focusing really on creating London architecture and all of this kind of urban style. So the first one was really floral, colorful, watercolors and all of that. And this one I tried to create as urbanistic as possible. And actually I have one more. I think it's quite interesting. Here we are. So this is quite interesting as well. I think it was my very first attempt. So here is me holding one of the NFTs printed and stored in a glass. So
Mm-hmm.
as well, I'm just gonna play it. And now this transition takes it from that drawing into this AI video.
Mm. So for this one, for this example, how many things do you have to type in? Does it just do what it wants, or you type in quite a few parameters or instructions on what you want?
To be honest, that's up to you. You can go as much into detail as you like. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's quite simple concept because more complex and more variables you're adding into, more complex your video becomes. Because floral, when you see it's quite smooth, you don't have too many complex details. So I use less wording and less frames. And on this one, where we have spaceship, it was much more like a written volume added and also different angles and much more parameters in there. So it changes more rapidly, shows more details. So
Mm.
it really depends on the complexity of your text that is being used. So
Okay.
that's why computing actually takes some time because I'm using the Google service that computes in a cloud. So actually to render one of these videos for 10-15 seconds, it takes approximately uh, half an hour, 1 hour, because then I need to download the frames and combine it into video as well. So I'm doing some after editing as well. So even using the original footage, because what I provide is the very last frame of my video.
Mm-hmm.
I add that frame, and from that point, I tell AI that this is your first frame, and you need to start this journey written in the text that from this first frame, you need to create, okay, rocket becomes into a cloud, cloud becomes into the space, space becomes into another object. And then also you need to tell the style. Do you want to be photorealistic? Do you want to have watercolors and all of that? So basically, you need to write it out. So very similar to Midjourney, but you have different parameters to set. And also you can tell at what second. So for example, you know you're gonna do 30 seconds video.
Yeah.
So for example, you can say like from 5 seconds to 30th second, I want angle to rotate one way or another way. So it's almost like if you're working on 3D software, you're able to set your camera and the rotation. So here as well, you just type in. So it looks like programming. Perhaps I can show you how it looks. Maybe actually this is a good example, just rather me explaining it. So we have translation for canvas per frame. So you see from 0 frame to 30 frame, and then so we have frames explained here and translation in X, Y. So these are your directions, right? And then we have rotation 3D. So this is as well, you set up how quickly you want rotation to happen and what direction.
Kind of complicated. I don't know.
Maybe it just looks at the same time. So the one that you've seen with Elon Musk, so this is the actual wording that I used. So we have Ultra HD sharp photo in focus. Then after 30 frames, we have becoming this.
I
So
see.
basically you write it down. So it's quite easy, right? After 60 frames, I want this.
Yeah.
And also, it's trial and error because you might add some things and it might appear slightly differently. And what else I have here as well? This is like a setup for your screen. So I was working on the vertical for Reels and for TikTok kind of content. So I set up my screen this way. And also instead of setting up, like a 4K, I tried like a 720, 1280, only because it would take much longer. And for example, you can just let it render it for 1 hour. You come back and actually the way you typed it in, it doesn't really translate what you expected, right? So you want to do maybe lower res, then later there are another tools that can fix your 720 quality into 4K. But I found that this is still enough to use it for what we use, small screens, mobile, etc. is quite fine.
Yeah.
But basically, I think this gives like a good idea of how the interface looks like.
Totally.
And
Just looking at the instructions there, some of those words don't look like English, like Feng in the middle there, Feng Hua Zhan, and is that
oh yeah, I think let's see where we have it.
where the
Yeah,
cursor is? Like
some
Ranjai? What's
oh
that?
yeah, I think something I use as well prompts it that other people used it. So I try to experiment and to see what it appears and how it looks. So it's quite interesting because AI perfectly understands any language. So for example, if I use OpenAI and I want to ask question in Lithuanian or English, I can ask it in Lithuanian and it gives you actually perfect grammar in particular language. So even, for example, I don't have Lithuanian keyboard on my computer, and if I need something to be written in Lithuanian, I can use ChatGTP, and it gives me perfect grammar. So here as well was actually, just a trial and error to see what other people uses and other recommendations, and literally, to see other practices from community because it's quite time consuming to try something, but it's great to see what other people are doing it and how they do it, and just to see any best practices. So even for camera angles, uh, so many people have the different setups that they like to use it, because you have the whole freedom, but to experiment it, you can just run a couple of 5 trials and the day is gone, So it's time consuming just on the computing side, but later as well, you still want to do some post editing and then add music, etc.
Cool, man. Cool. This is very informative. So I got a few questions. You mentioned the
Mm-hmm.
Taiwan show. Did you say the dates? I can't remember. That's going to be in
Oh yes,
September, October?
the dates are from 22nd of September to 29th of October
Okay.
this year,
Yeah.
2023.
Awesome.
So it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward as well to see what else is happening there because I've seen the videos from previous years and you have really creative people and advanced technologies. So I think this is quite interesting. So as well, for me, this was one of the first kind of mixed medium art where I use AI and video rather to use my regular approach to digital painting, digital image manipulation. So this is a new field for me as well, but I thought like, because the whole context of the exhibition, it's art, technology, innovation. So I thought this will be interesting just to see how it fits with the other works that people are producing. So it's very fascinating because you have kind of like a leaders in the industry who's thinking outside of the box and kind of creating interactive uh, pieces, interactive kind of stands, and it's just really, really interesting. So I look forward to see what's happening at the event.
Yeah. So it's a technology festival, yeah? You imagine
So
it's
it
like
is
a
art and
university campus?
technology.
Mm. Is it like a gallery
So
or what's the setup?
So I think they'll have exhibition center where they will be showing different sizes of artworks. So it will be on a screen, it will be on a iPads, etc. So really depends on a different setups. But I've seen even some interactive pieces that are controlled by voice or movement. So it's quite entertaining.
Mm. Mm. Cool. And I'm just wondering, like, what's the I mean, it's awesome to look at, but usually, traditional painting, you hang it on the wall. NFT, it's in your wallet. Maybe there's the option to get it
Mhm.
physical as well. But this sort of medium, what what do you think is going to happen? People are going to pay big bucks for this sort of stuff, and if so, how are they going to keep it, or are they going to have it on this on a screen in their house, or
Mhm.
where do you see this going?
Well, I think AI art, it's really the medium itself. It is still digital, right? You can store it exactly the same way like you used to store the NFTs, the digital art. So it could be in your wallet. It could be, exported as NFT and sold as NFT. So I think it has same space and
Mm,
use, but
mm,
it's only different medium. So I think it's you have videography, photography, digital art, and you have AR art, right? And really depends on the value of who's creating, how it's being used, how creative you can become using it, and just to be clever with that.
mm-hmm.
So I think it's not really changing the itself medium and how we consume it, but it's rather different technology, how we can make art. And it's kind of addition. I think it's shows with my example that I use video combining. So it's not 100% just AI, not 100% just videography, but
Mm,
it's combined of two. So I think in the future I would be interested to explore a combination of digital painting and AI further, and also turn this into animation, because we know that animation is very time consuming if you're doing something frame by frame, but this is something that can excel and extend your art. So perhaps this is just a plugin that or extension to your creative process. So for example, you can create something still image and you would think, oh my gosh, when I look at it, I can see a story, but I cannot do it physically, perhaps translate it into a short story. But with AI, like I show you the fields that you can fill in and give the instructions, you can transfer your vision into the written text, and AI can create this into a longer story that could last rather just a one frame, could be 10 seconds or 15 seconds. And maybe this way artists will be able to express fully their ideas rather leaving people guessing it. Oh, I like this still image, but what is it meaning? What is happening after this frame? Or what is I see what's happening in this moment, but what happened before or after?
yeah, I understand. So you just keep typing, girl walks to the park, then she walks to the store, then she falls in love,
Mm,
and you can make the whole movie, right? That's cool.
exactly. And especially, once the computing gets a bit faster as well, you can do photorealistic, like a movie style content. So that's why something even like a series. So, for example, you could have great ideas, but
Mm,
you don't know nothing about filming, or you do not have a budget for, creating Netflix production. But with computing power, you can create high res characters, stories, and the whole production can be done without any makeup artists and etc. As
yeah,
long as you have great ideas.
nice. Great ideas. Yeah. So I was giving an NFT workshop, I guess, back in May, and one of the questions that came up is AI going to replace, all artists? And I said, I don't
Mhm.
think so, because, people want to buy a piece of the artist, but it is a bit bit uncertain, I guess. You know, a lot of actors could lose their jobs. A lot of, a lot of people are
Yeah,
involved in making movies. And if it's just some kid in his bedroom typing prompts into his computer and then he's got something even better than
yeah,
Hollywood, it'll definitely change
yeah.
things up.
I think it will affect definitely because we can see that how YouTube changed as well, that our screen time, rather spending the money and time at movie theaters or on Netflix,
Mm,
some content like a daily vlogs or travel videos created by using it GoPro cameras and mobile phones are more entertaining than Discovery Channel,
yeah.
right? Uh, so we can see even through this year's theater earnings, or let's say losses, Indiana Jones and other movies that came out this summer,
Yeah.
they made losses because people have other things to watch, including Netflix, including YouTube. But with this, it will disturb the system, disrupt the whole ecosystem, because do you need actors? Do you need makeup artists? Do you need people working on the sets and all of that? But a lot of people still pushing back, like people used to push back on the magazines, on the books, on a radio, etc. When we look back, people always pushed, but open marketplace will decide. But we can already see the direction that Netflix is fighting for the screen time. People prefer sometimes to watch a few TikToks rather to watch a movie with cheesy lines and all all of that. So I think this is another medium where it will go to those platforms, but it's it's not a Hollywood, right? And I think Hollywood cannot embrace it because they have their own style how they're doing things. And
Mm,
this is just perhaps will be a new kind of cinema. Maybe we may not see it this year or next year, but perhaps the new independent movies will come that are made fully AI, and you have a director and a few writers
yeah.
who write, and perhaps a few technology guys who executes the technical side, and then couple editors puts together. But it's a much smaller production, cheaper. But the value is not how much you spend on making something, like if we look at the Transformers or Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
End of the day, it's like ideas, meaning. The value is there, rather super effects and etc. So even the movie could be quite simple, but if it has the fundamentals, you have
Yeah.
the product.
Yeah. It's kind of blowing my mind. When I was thinking about how this could apply, I didn't really see, but after what you've just said has kind of sunken in, like maybe the makeup artists will lose their jobs, but on the other hand, the makeup artist could become the next director, right? If they get in their room and they have some good ideas. So it kind of
Yeah,
levels the playing field. Everyone has an opportunity to benefit. They're not, the low man on the totem pole sort of thing can take over. And I
yeah,
think it could be anything. You could like make video games. When you said
yeah.
architecture before, I didn't really get it, but like you just type in 14-story building, blah 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 blah,
Hmm.
boom, it does it. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. And also with generative AI, where you can fill the gaps. So I've seen the videos where a person sits on an empty background,
Hmm.
and the whole action is happening. For example, if now I'm speaking in the middle and I can just fill the space around me with the objects. So I don't need a physical set, right? But I need perhaps some expertise from people that builds the set to advise me. Actually, you know what would be great? You have window here and a standing lamp on this side, rather the way around. And also, oh, let's make the background orange rather. So you see, as I said, designer, you will be able to build the sets, but rather going and buying props and sorting physical objects, you will be able to sketch it out and explain to tech guys, okay, do the ceilings this way, background this way, add, and stylists, etc. Or even makeup artists could work on a characters to advise, what colors are better on a certain character. So
Mm,
it's just a different space, but you still need expertise, right?
yeah,
Even computer can do it, but it can do what you actually tell them. So you need the expertise still. It's just a different technology.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. That set building stuff is already available, or that's. I was thinking about buying
Uh,
some LED light for my background, but if I can just like type some stuff in and it's going to do it automatically, I don't need to buy the lights, right?
I can show you very simple, exactly. very simple trick. So for example, if you have just a plain background,
Yeah.
right, and you editing in the Premiere, so if you zoom out, what you would have that plain background, but around is just black. So what you can add ceilings at the top and side parts as well, because where your hands and body is, it won't touch it or interact with those pieces. So you can build around you that looks natural environment. I can send you later some examples as well, but or later we can do a workshop on a Photoshop generative AI, how we can do this.
Yeah, maybe that could be the next show.
And
Okay.
then in a third video, you will have your set.
Yeah. My wife won't be angry about me spending money at Amazon. Okay, it's been
Exactly.
great, Snarskis. Do you have any comments before we wrap up? I think it's been a good show.
I think for this is quite it. I look forward to see, and hopefully if people who see the artwork in Taiwan can take some pictures, tag me, and share the message.
For sure. For sure. We still have like another month before month and a half, I guess. A little over a month.
Absolutely.
We'll try to promote that every time we do a show. Yeah, awesome. Okay, thanks for your time and hope to see you
Thank
in a
you
week
so
or
much.
so. Yeah, take care.
Absolutely. See you later. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.